Evening, everyone. Hello, and welcome to Willingness Wednesday. I am your coach, B.Von Squires, and tonight we are sponsored by Spirit Source Connection. Let me see if I can just get me on here just a little more centered. There we go. That's a little better. Now, as you guys know, if you've been following me, you know that I just moved into my brand new home last week, and actually this past week since we last spoke. And I haven't actually figured out where I want to broadcast my Willingness Wednesday from. So right now, this is just a temporary scene. So just bear with me. There's no way I would have missed this opportunity to come to you tonight because I didn't have a designated place yet. Excuse me, just a moment. Okay, thanks. All right, so for those of you who are new, I want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. You are so welcome here. This is a safe place for you. For those of you who are returning, I want to say thank you so much. Thank you for allowing me to pour into you each week. Thank you so much for continuing to support me and come here to meet me every Wednesday night at 7:15 p.m. Now, I do want to put out a little disclaimer, if you will, because see, the things that you hear about here are not things that you're going to hear in normal dinner conversation. You're not going to hear them at school, which of course we should have heard them at school. But you know, you have to come here each week so that I can bring new information that's going to give you, spark your interest, spark your perspective, give you another way of looking at things, help you decide if the life that you are living is truly the life that you want to live. Now, first of all, we have to make sure you know that you are a multi-dimensional spiritual being with supernatural powers. And those are the kinds of things that we talk about here that's going to actually raise you up and broaden you out so that you can be the most magnificent version of yourself that you can be. All right, now with all of that said, I'm going to give us just a brief recap of what tonight's topic is going to be about because we embarked on a series called the 4 Agreements for February. And so far, we've gone through all 4 of the agreements. The first agreement, of course, is be impeccable with your word. And then we don't want to take things personally, and we certainly don't want to assume things, right? And we want to do our best in everything that we encounter. Because when we do our best, God multiplies our best and then brings it back to us in an abundant harvest. And so, wouldn't that be something you'd like for your life? I know I love my harvest. Oh my goodness, I have received so much blessings over the last few months, and I'm just overwhelmed and asking God, please show me how to receive all your goodness because it's not something that I'm used to. We're not used to all of that. But I tell you what, I wouldn't trade it for the other way of living for nothing in the world. Okay, so with no further ado, we're going to just jump on in. Tonight, we are talking about the Toltec path to freedom. Now, this is talking about breaking old agreements because we talked about the agreements that we made, which are things that we have put into our belief system, which is the book of law. This book is what governs us through the judge, through the victim, and through our belief system. This whole system is what is part of our domestication. And so, what we have to understand about the domestication is that these are other people's beliefs that were brought down to us when we got here. These beliefs were already in place before we arrived on the scene. So, we had no way of saying, yes, I want this, or no, I don't want that. And a lot of times when we rebelled against our parents, we were beaten into submission and made to accept this belief system. And then as we continue to grow and experience things in our own lives, then we get a chance to say, is that really what I like? Is that really what I believe? And at that moment, that's when you are ready to start taking a look at things that don't serve you any longer. That's when you're ready to take away all the limiting beliefs that have kept you from reaching your highest potential thus far. And so tonight we're going to talk about the path to freedom. And that freedom is being able to create our own belief system. That freedom is the freedom to be able to think and use our own minds to bring about the things that we want in our lives. And so I'm going to give you some solutions. I'm going to give you some choices. Oh my goodness, it's going to be so wonderful. So buckle up, guys, because here we go. We're going to jump right on in. Okay, so now, of course, we're talking about freedom. We want to be free. Everybody in America, across the country, we all want to be free, but nobody really knows what freedom looks like, right? And so freedom has to do with the spirit. It has to do with us and our unbridled spirit. But at this time in our lives, our spirits are not unbridled because they have been domesticated. The people that were here before us used our focus, used our attention, and drew us into their belief. And so now we get to use our attention for the second time and decide for ourselves what kind of life we want to live. Now, listen to this. The 4 agreements were created to assist you in the art of transformation, to help you break the limiting agreements, gain more personal power, and become stronger. That sounds awesome, doesn't it? Now, the stronger you get, the more agreements you can break. Because what happens is, as you start breaking those agreements, all of the energy and the power that was put into these agreements to make them now comes back to you to make you even stronger as the spiritual being that you are, as the human part of who you are. You get stronger by breaking these agreements because now you get to live according to what you like, right? So now I want to tell you. Now, what right now, what I'm going to tell you right now, this is what freedom looks like. Freedom looks like a child. Okay, a 2-year-old, let's say 2. You know how they always say the terrible 2s? Because at 2 years old, the child is learning how to explore life. He's learning how to play. He's happy. There is nothing that could keep a smile off of a young child's face because they are their authentic selves. They're not afraid to express joy. They're not afraid to express love. And they are living their best lives at 2. Because they have not yet been domesticated, right? Now that's what freedom looks like. Freedom looks like, someone exploring the world and all of that. They don't worry about the past. They don't worry about the future. They're not worried about what anybody thinks about them, if anybody likes their hair. At 2 years old, no, that is true living. That is true freedom. And so that's where we want to get back to. Obviously, not the ideas of a 2-year-old, just the freedom of a 2-year-old to be our authentic selves. But what happens is, because we are adults, here come those responsibilities trekking their way right into our happiness. And here comes that judge saying, no, you're having too much fun. You're too old for that. That dress, not age appropriate. No. That hair right there, no, not for you. Because that's for somebody who's younger. What? This is what the judge would say to keep us from having fun, to keep us from enjoying ourselves, to keep us from tapping into that exploration, that explorative part of who we are, the happiness that is genuinely inside of us. The judge comes and says, nope, knock it off. The victim says, oh, yeah, you're right, judge. I can't wear this dress. Oh, these heels are way too high for me. You're right. I need to tone it down a little, or I need to not go to this place or that place for whatever reason. No real reason, just because somewhere in our belief system, we have made an agreement that something is not right for us. But now we get to take a look at all of that, that we get to take an inventory, if you will, of all of the times that we made agreements that no longer serve us. Now, of course, I know you don't know how to do an inventory, most of you, and that's where I come in. I know how to do an inventory, and I have some wonderful exercises that I can work with you to help you identify those agreements that no longer serve you. Now, If you would like to reach me, you can call me at 317-721-4315, or you can email me at b.vonsquires@gmail.com. Okay, guys, we're going to keep it moving here because, see, there is a parasite. The Toltecs believe that there is a parasite that lives inside our minds. It feeds off of our emotions, especially those that are rooted in fear, because the negative vibrations and fear is very, very powerful, because that's what the first dream that we have created, or that was created for us, was built on fear. And so through our domestication, we learned how to fear. We learned how to fear what others think of us. We learned how to fear, oh my God, I might not be doing a good enough job. We learned all of these fear-based emotions during our domestication. And during that time, that's where the parasite began to grow. So it's the judge, the victim, and the belief system that make up this parasite that basically runs your mind, runs your life. And you, unless you can break free, don't have any control over what is going on in your own life. So this is where I come in. And that's what this message is about tonight: breaking those old agreements and giving you back the freedom that you deserve, the freedom that you can choose for yourself. Okay, so I want to tell you here now that most of the time, right? Most of the time, the things we do are just to please others, just to be accepted by others, rather than living our own lives to please ourselves. And this is all because of the way our domestication was set up, to make us think that we need the approval of other people, that we need to be a certain way so that we can be accepted by others. Now, for every 1,000 people, right, 99 of those people are completely domesticated, and the majority probably will go to their graves as domesticated individuals, never ever having the opportunity to live their own belief system. And that is so sad. That is sad for me, because I know once I was able to start living my own belief system, my self-esteem flew through the roof. Once I was able to believe in my own abilities, because I was told I was never going to amount to anything. I was told that my efforts were no good, that they were insufficient. This is what I was told. This was how I was domesticated. But thank God there were some other people who had broken free from the domestication, who were able to help me to see how I could create my own belief system. And that's why I am here today, to help you do the same, to help walk you through the same process that I walked through, so that you can have the same freedom in your mind, freedom in your spirit, freedom in your body, freedom to live your own life, right? And there's nothing like it. There's just nothing like it. Now, the first step towards personal freedom is awareness. We have to be aware of which of these agreements we need to break, which one of these agreements no longer serve who we are. Based on our experience, based on the things that we have encountered in life, we have the ability to say, this no longer meets my needs. This is no longer who I am. I do not want to behave this way ever again. And so when we make these kinds of choices for ourselves, then we get to do something about it. But until we have the awareness of which one of these agreements we need to break, we will not have the ability to change them. We must do the hard work. We must do the painful work of going back in and looking at all of that emotional pain, looking at all of our mental traumas, looking at all of our spiritual injuries. We have to go back and look at all of those so that we can see exactly what's there, what we want to keep, and what we want to change. And then we are well on our way to living the best life we could ever dream of, right? So now you can change your life at any time. You can change the dream at any time. This is what the Toltecs believe. The Toltecs believe that the way you change your dream, this new dream that you now have the ability to create, is through your choices. You make good, sound choices, because choices have consequences, right? And so either choice that you make is going to lead you in a good direction, or the choice that you make is going to lead you in the opposite direction, right? But the thing about it is, you have the choice in order to build this new life. And of course, you're not going to do it by yourself. I'm going to be here to help you. I will hold your hand and walk you through the entire process. If you would just give me a call, that would be just fine with me. Okay? So, all right, let's just keep moving on. Okay, so the freedom we seek is to use our own mind and our own body to live our own lives instead of the ones that have been given to us through domestication. Now, the first choice that we had is to rebel. The first choice, the first choice is to continue to live the way we've been living, right? Surrender to this old dream that was given to us that we had nothing to do with. Surrender to the life that we have that doesn't seem to fulfill us, or make us feel as if we are useful and happy, right? We can either stay there, or the second choice that we have is we can do what children do when parents try to make them do the right thing. We can rebel. We can rebel and we can say, that's enough. I don't want any more of that. It's causing me anxiety, causing me fear, causing me to judge myself and then to punish myself. I don't want to live like that anymore. Man, I tell you what, nobody can beat my butt like I can. Nobody can tear me down like I can. And I was tired of that. And so now that I can see things from a different perspective, right? That perspective change is what was needed. And now that I have a new perspective, I can give myself a break. I can take an inventory of what my best is on any given day. And then I can live to that best, because my best is not going to always be 100%, right? And so that is part of my new belief system. That's part of my dream, so that I can continue to be happy with myself, right? Instead of saying, oh no, I did not reach that perfectionism like I thought I would. Oh, you know what? I'm going to have to just eat some chocolate chip cookies now. Yes, punishment, especially a whole bag. Now that would be real cruel and unusual punishment, right? But anyway, I just want you to know that you have the opportunity to transcend the dream of the planet, which is the one that was given to you, and change your personal dream. You can change it to a place of joy and happiness and freedom. You can change it to the place where you can love and be loved without fear. But I want to tell you, you first have to have the eyes to see and the ears to hear the truth. This does not happen overnight. This is truly a process, and it has to be something that you want to do. See, a lot of people don't get quickened in their spirit to show them that something is amiss. I don't know why God decided to quicken my spirit and wake me up out of that Toltec, or out of that domesticated dream. I don't know why. As I was thinking about this and I was doing this research this week, I thought about myself, and I thought, you know what? That's why I got so many whippings when I was little, because I was like, no, something just didn't feel right to me. There was a war that was going on inside of me. There was truly a war going on inside of me. I was fighting for my own authenticity, against the domestication of a dream that just didn't feel right to me. Even as a child, I felt this. And so I'm happy to see that I wasn't wrong. I'm happy to see that, wow, I knew all along that something wasn't right. I just didn't know what it was. And then it wasn't until after I was able to be awakened, my spirit was awakened, and I was able to think differently. I was able to see things differently. And now I understand what that was all about when I was a child. Most children will rebel because they don't want to relinquish the freedom. They don't want to give up their true nature. And it's the domestication that breaks their spirit, that makes them now live under a law and a belief system that doesn't belong to them. Okay, so now the first solution is you can attack each of these fears one by one. Now, if you think about this, think about the parasite, okay? The parasite is what's living inside of your mind, the judge, the victim, and the book of law, or your belief system. That makes up the parasite. And the parasite lives off of your fear. That's how you feed it, through your anxiety, through your jealousy, through your envy, through your anger, through your self-consciousness. All of these kinds of things is how you feed the parasite. Now, if you take this and imagine that this parasite had 100 heads, and each head represents the fear that you have. So one way that you can dispel this parasite is you can take each one of these fears, each one of these little heads, and you can attach one at a time. Now, this is a surefire way to gain your freedom, although it will take a while and you won't be able to do it by yourself. I'm going to have to help you with this. Okay. So that's not a big deal. Just give me a call and then we can set up a time so that we can talk more about this. Okay. There's a whole process. You can either, like I said, attack one at a time, right? Or you can change and stop being so fearful. You can exercise trust in your life, trust in a higher power, trust in your God source, trust to know that God is real and that He's got you and that you are in His care and that nothing bad can happen to you. And what I mean by that is not that bad things don't happen, but when you look at it from a different perspective, you understand that the things that are happening in your life are to make you stronger. The things that are happening in your life are to bring your awareness to these agreements that no longer fit you. And that's why it's painful, because these agreements no longer fit you the way they did. That's like outgrowing a pair of shoes and you still try to wear that pair of shoes. Ouch. And so that's where the pain comes from, because God is trying to alert us to, hey, this thing doesn't fit you anymore. Hey, this thing that you're believing over here doesn't coincide with the person that I made you to be. So when those things are happening to your life, don't go blaming God. Don't go beating God up for bad things that happen in your life, because the only thing that He's trying to do is deter you, direct you, and love you, basically. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of a tough love, but it is truly a love, because in the end it works out for your highest good. Okay, just want to let you know that. Now, in order to starve the parasite, you're going to have to go and look at your emotional state. You're going to have to go and look at what are these things that cause you to act the way you do. What are these things that cause you fear? Okay, you're going to have to take a look at all of this. Now, it's easy to say. Yes, it's easy to say, but it is difficult to do, and it does take time and energy. And you either do the work, right, and get your freedom, because freedom ain't free. Don't let anybody tell you that any kind of personal freedom that you can gain in your life you'll get it without exerting any energy. That's just ridiculous, and it's just not true. You have to exert your energy, and you have to do the work. But I'm telling you, the freedom that you will receive on the other side is so well worth it. It's so well worth it, and you are worth it. So you can do the work, or you can remain a victim. Those are your two choices, basically. Okay, so one way to change your beliefs is to focus your attention on all the agreements and beliefs that change, and then change those agreements. We just talked about that. Now, the difference is that you're no longer innocent, and that you know now how you want to live. You know now how you want to interact. And so you have a choice. Whereas when you were a child, when you had the first dream, there was no choice for you, but now there is a choice. Okay, and so we're going to keep moving here so we can wrap it up. I'm so sorry, guys, that it's running a little late this time, but we're almost done. Okay, and so now like I said, you have to become aware. We talked about that. You have to know which agreements that you want to change before you're going to be able to change them. Now, if this is something that interests you, I would like for you to call me. I would like for you to call me so that we can talk about setting you free from these agreements, setting you free from the parasite, the judge, the victim, and the belief system that continues to tear you down, that continues to rob you of your joy, that continues to keep you in fear. And then the fear is what actually feeds the parasite. So no more food for the parasite, no more fear for your life, because you have nothing to fear. Fear is false evidence appearing real, which means it's made up in your mind. It's made up in your mind to control you. And so that's what the judge, the victim, and the belief system do. They together, these components that live in your mind, that we got from our domestication, together they keep you stuck. Together they keep you blinded. Together, there's just no real growth. There's just no room for fresh energy to come in because they have learned how to work well with each other because you created them for the most part through your agreements. And so I want to help you understand that only you can undo the agreements that you've made. And the same energy and intensity with which you created these agreements, that is the same intensity and energy to that same degree that you will need in order to break them. But there is hope. There is hope because I am your coach and I am here to help you. So don't ever forget that. And as we continue to move forward through our closing, I want to say thank you so much for meeting me here. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your coach. I am just so thrilled and so grateful that you continue to come back each week to hear this wonderful information that can so greatly impact your life. I tell you what, I am just thrilled and honored to be here, and I will look forward to seeing you again next week. But before I go, I want to say I am going to pray for you that God will bless you real good. And if you are manifesting anything over there, I'm sending all my positive energy to you to mix with your positive energy so that that thing that you're manifesting will be rushed right to your front door. And then when it happens, I want you to come back here and let me know what it was all about. I'm so excited for you. Go get your manifestation. It's yours for the grabbing. I'll look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thank you so much. Bye bye.